Hello, time for our next math lesson. Today, before you start, I need you to find a blue and a red crayon or marker or colored pencil or anything that writes in two different colors. You can even use pens if you had a blue pen and a red pen, but you need to find blue and red before we start. Go ahead and pause the video if you need to, and if not, you already have them. Let's get going on our next lesson, which is lesson 11.5 today. There it is. Got this cute little picture of a cat on the front. And as always, let's write our names at the top. First and last. Okay. So a lot of lessons we've done this week have been about the height of something, which is how tall something is, and the length of something, which is how long something is. Remember, I've told you that the height is always from the ground up, and length is always side to side, okay? So let's take our fingers, and we're gonna go up and down along the height. You just take your finger and say the word height. Height is how tall something is, okay? Now let's switch and go side to side. And let's say the word length. Length is how long something is side to side. So this is the length of this kitty cat book. We have height and length. Okay. We don't have to do anything else besides that on our first page. Let's flip it. Okay. Now we're going to need our two crayons. So we are going to use blue to show the line that shows height, and we're going to use red to show the line that goes length. So let's do height first on both of these pictures. Height, remember, is from the ground up. It's how tall something is. So this line shows the height of this tape dispenser, and this line shows the height of the glue. And on both of these pictures, you'll see that the line looks like it goes past the object a little bit, but really it doesn't. It goes to the highest point. See, the highest point of this tape dispenser is about right here. So if we go over, that measures it just about right. We don't stop measuring right here where the line stops touching it. We have to go to the highest part, the tallest part. The height always measures the full length. So we don't stop here at like the shoulder of the glue. We have to go all the way to the top of the head. That's where we'd stop measuring, okay? So we have to find the tallest part, and that shows us the height. Okay, now let's switch to our red, and the red is what we're gonna do for length. So how long something is side to side is the length. Okay, and this line shows the length as well. Same thing, right? We didn't stop right here where the plastic stopped touching the line. We had to keep going to the farthest point, which was right here, and then we went down, and that's why that line sticks out a little bit. And same with this one. This kind of curves in at the bottom, so we don't stop making our line right there. We have to go to the far edge. Good job. All right, so we have height and we have length. There are two different colors to help remind us. Next page, we're gonna do the same thing again, okay? We're gonna do red along the length, and then we're gonna do height with blue, okay? So let's do this. Length and height. Length and height. Length and height. Length and height. Okay. Now, before we move on, I want to talk about which one of these lines is longer for each one of the objects, okay? So, is the backpack taller or is it wider? Is it longer? What do we think? It looks kind of close, but from what I can tell, it looks like the blue line is going to be longer, even though it's measuring the height. if I were to lay this down, it would probably go past the red line. So I think this backpack is taller than it is long. I think it's taller. What about here? Do you think this crayon box is taller or longer? Again, it looks pretty close, but I think it's a rectangle because this side is longer than this side. This height line is a longer line than this one. Here, this is a rectangle and it's much easier to tell which line is longer. Our blue one, right? This is a much longer side than this side. It's much taller than it is long. And this one, let's see. I think that might be pretty close to square. But if I had to say that one was longer, and if this part wasn't sticking up and we could stop our blue line about right here, if that part was laying down, then I would say this is longer than it is tall. It might be close to the same, but I still think maybe it's longer than it is tall. Especially if this part wasn't here, then it would be easier to see. Okay, last page. I want you to trace your hand, which is so fun. I think it's always fun to trace your hand. Okay, so put your hand out, and then we're going to draw around all the fingers. Pretty soon you have a pretty nice hand. Okay? Now I want you to get your 2 markers again, or your 2 crayons. Okay? And remember, we can't just do the part that is kind of close to the line down here for the length. We have to go to the farthest point, which is the end of my pinky. Let's see. I'm going to make my line go out to close to the edge of my pinky. Does that look about right? I think maybe if I were to go straight down from my pinky, that's about right. And then on this side, my thumb is way over here. So I need to make my length line about that long. You see that? I have to go all the way over to my thumb, and I have to go all the way over to my pinky. So that is the length of my hand. It's pretty long. My hand barely fits on there. Now I'm going to do the height, and my tallest finger is my middle finger right here. So I have to go over to about right here. That is going to be about how tall my hand is, maybe even a little higher. I think I maybe drop down a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go down, and that is going to be the height of my hand. Height is how tall it is. And remember, the length down here at the bottom is how long it is. All right, I want you to do the same thing with your hand. See if you can measure all the way over to the thumb and the pinky for the length, and all the way from the bottom of your palm to the top of your middle finger for the height. That was awesome. You guys did a great job doing both, doing the height of something and doing the length of something. Height is always up and down, and length is always side to side. All right, good job today, guys. I'll see you on Monday for the next lesson. Have a good weekend.